Today, down at the press conference, somebody asked Ryan Day about this year. Basically, is the philosophy this year similar to last year in we are trying to limit the number of plays and slow down?
Yeah.
He wouldn't answer it. He said he's going to use it situationally. Each game has a philosophy, and then you have your overall season philosophy, but he wouldn't tell us what the overall season philosophy was this year. Curious to know that, because I thought that last year, having won the national championship and them talking about how fresh they are, though I still think it's misguided. I think you can play 35 plays with your starters faster and bust ass and then get your young guys in rather than playing 60 slow. I don't know, man. I just don't get it. But I figured this year they would do the same thing. Now I'm thinking maybe this will be okay. We are going to sometimes, we're not going to others. I don't know. What did you take from it? It was tough to get a read.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a whole lot I could take from it in terms of just what I think he's saying. I do think you'll see a steady mixture of both at times throughout the year. Kind of going back to what Ryan said after the game on Saturday, just in terms of the way they were able to grind that game out offensively against Texas, and then they were able to open it up against Grambling. He said it's nice to know we can do both, and I think he knows they can do both when they need to at times. And so, I think a decent amount of that too is what Julian shows he's capable of doing, and how much he's capable of operating that. So, but I think they feel good about that, and I think you'll continue to see that hopefully on Saturday, and that'll give you another data point to say they can do that when they want to. So yeah, I didn't take a whole lot from what he said, but I would expect you're going to see a decent amount of both of them. And frankly, I hope they are trying to run and get as many plays in as they can out there. I think what they did last year fit that team and the style and the way they wanted to go win football games and with the personnel that they had. But I think, run and gun this year with this offense.
I'm with you, bro. And then in addition, let's get the young guys in. And we've talked last year, Julian had 12 passing attempts going into this year. Like there were a lot of times where it felt like early in the third, they could have put the pedal to the metal, scored 14 quick and gotten the younger guys in, and they just chose not to. Because of this overarching philosophy, I felt it limited that. But I did want you to kind of talk to us about your question today during the press conference and what made you ask it and such, and then how you felt about the answer.
Well, look, it was obvious, it was obvious to anybody watching the game on Saturday that the punt return situation is just a non-factor. It's non-existent. I think when I think back to Caleb Downs punt return last year and how great that felt to finally see that, and to think that you have an All-American type player back returning punts for you, and he's also a potential game breaker that you can house one at any given time. And it was fleeting, but and from that moment it was it's such a good feeling. And then you come into this year in the Texas game, you see Jeremiah Smith back there. I know there are mixed feelings on what from people about whether they want to see Jeremiah Smith back return to punts or not. But I loved the philosophy that, he was, you're going to put one of your best athlete back there, potentially your best game breaker, back there to potentially, make a game-changing play on special teams. I knew we weren't going to see it against Grambling. You don't need to. I understand that. But what I do know is that if Brandon Ennis is going to be your main punt returner, I've never understood why they switch up punt returners as often as they do anyways, why they can't identify one guy who is your punt returner in a program full of special athletes who maybe aren't ready to do anything else but field a damn punt, make the first guy miss and get upfield, and good things are going to happen. They can't find one guy to do that year after year. I've never understood it. But anyways, I knew Jeremiah wasn't going to, return punts against Grambling. I understood that. But what I saw from Brandon Ennis is, if that's going to be your primary punt returner, save for some times here and there, that's obviously just not good enough. And Ryan talked about just fielding punts, the hitting yards that you lose.
47,
he said. And he made the point, and it's true that, not all those punts were hit well, so you're not going to be able to field some of those things. I get that as well. But there were some that were certainly fieldable. He said that himself, and they weren't fielded, and that's just hidden yardage. And while we all feel good about where this offense is and feel good about the poise and the comfortability that Julian shown early on, hey, don't hurt your offense. Don't hurt a first-year starting quarterback by potentially making him start, at Husky Stadium in Washington in 2 weeks, first road start, and you didn't field a punt. So now he's starting inside of his 10-yard line instead of starting, at the 20. Things like that matter. We will never know. You can't quantify how much it matters, but you don't know, how much that, something like that's going to matter in a game. So to not be able to field punts, it obviously is just not good enough. So I asked Ryan about that, and he was very clear. He called it a red flag coming out of the game on Saturday, which it was a red flag in the sense that, did he field a punt at all? Was it
Bryson Rogers fielded one.
Yeah.
He looked good, real good.
Yeah. That's why.
Oh, it got called back though, Dylan. The fair catch.
Yeah. So
bullshit call too.
That's why I asked about it, and what I thought I would get from him, and the answer was on par. He called it a red flag, said it's got to be better. They're not happy with it, but he did say Brandon Ennis is going to continue to return punts for Ohio State. I've seen people on Twitter, Ohio State fans, who've had a really good time, with that news today. How that lunatic fringe is on Twitter, and they have not reacted well. Same people who saw the same issues I did are not happy to know that Brandon Ennis is still going to be returning punts for Ohio State. I'm not saying that he shouldn't. I just know that he better start fielding punts. And then Ryan said that Jeremiah, Caleb, Carnell, Bryson. Actually, didn't even say Bryson, despite the fact that Bryson was the only other guy who
didn't. That blew my mind. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
he just looked like he was shot out of a gun.
Right. So anyway, also the fact that, just in general, going back to my other point, the fact that he named 4 guys that might return punts for Ohio State at any given time just drives me absolutely crazy. That they can't find a guy to just field punts, and when applicable, make a guy miss and get up the field and just be an Ohio State athlete and be better than every other athlete on the field for the other team just about every time you have the ball in your hands. But seems
the Ennis thing is curious because the first couple last year when they put him back there, it was like, okay, we got something here. It hasn't looked like that since. The bubble wrapping of football players, I've said it 1,000 times. Like, if the coach wants to say, like, I don't want to put Caleb Downs back there because I don't want to risk him getting hurt, whatever, I respect it. He's the coach. I cannot stand fans with this argument. Like, shut up, man. You're the fan. Have fun. You want to see your football player go play football. Drives me nuts.
Well, it's just one more thing as well, just to that point, because now you got me going. The same people who don't want to see Jeremiah Smith returning punts because he might get hurt are the same people who will blame Jerry Emig for not touting up Jeremiah Smith to go win a Heisman Trophy. But you don't want to see Jeremiah Smith maybe house a couple of punts, because I promise you, housing a couple of punts in addition to whatever he does offensively is how he's going to win a Heisman Trophy. Not because Jerry Emig didn't put a cool graphic up on Twitter or, to talk about him, to whoever he's supposed to be talking about in the first place. So that always makes me laugh that people, take aim at SIDs for not touting up players, not getting them Heisman Trophies or awards in general. But then you don't want to see the guy go out and make special teams plays that would get him a Heisman Trophy or potentially, push him over the top to win that award. So
those are difference-making plays, man. Difference-making plays. But honestly, Dylan, when we go back to I mean, you have been on the beat as long as Ryan Day has been the head coach. Why does it seem like this man can figure everything else out to run at the absolute top notch of college football? Every single flipping area of the department, except for this, man. It's like this one kryptonite that he can't seem to figure out. And it seems so damn obvious. Like, you're sitting here talking about 5 guys he just listed off. This is the same thing he was doing 5 years ago. Yeah. What are we doing? I don't get it. It drives me nuts, but obviously he does everything else so good. It's like, how much you going to bitch about punt return? But
and that's just it. It is baffling. Right. Without question, it's baffling. It's baffling. I don't understand it. It's been a problem. It's been ongoing. It's something that's, just kind of, we've accepted it is what it is now. And given the state of the program and how much success he's had, like it's an afterthought, 9.5 times out of 10. But when you're coming out of the Grambling game and you're looking at things and saying, okay, well, where's this team projected and where they need to get better? What is there to gripe about? We're all going to, look for something to gripe about. That's just being critical of a team that you expect to be, at the mountaintop at the end of the year, and that was just one of the things to gripe about. But, it's a little bit bigger of a gripe too, when this is a thing that's just been a consistent theme throughout the years with Ryan Day's, program. And, again, like you said, it seems like such a simple, general straightforward fix with all the athletes at your disposal. And again, those athletes being better than pretty much anything that's over on, the opposing sideline 9 times out of 10, that you can't find a way to have a difference maker, or swing games with, some big plays in the return game. So, I don't know, maybe it's coming, maybe once Brandon Ennis gets back to fielding punts, maybe he can get back to being, a difference maker there, or maybe they switch to somewhere. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath on him. So,
well, I was happy you asked about it because I didn't want that to go look, everybody, I mean, I was happy that he came out and said, 47 yards we lost, 47 hidden yards. It doesn't need to be like this. It really doesn't. Anyway.
No, you can tell his response was genuine, and that it was, it's something that they definitely coming out of the game, they're, concerned about, or, that they're not happy with.
Yeah, he's not happy.
But I mean, it's not the first time they should be unhappy with, the return game or lack thereof. And here we are. So,
yeah. My guy Dillon, follow Dillon on Twitter at Dillon Davis. That's Dillon with an O. Dillon Davis from the Delaware Gazette joins us every week. Been on the beat as long as Ryan Day's been the head coach, and I think offers a very interesting perspective, kind of coming through, the whole journey with him. But Dill, I appreciate you so much, brother. Any parting words for anybody? What did you bet? What did you bet? Did you bet in the Grambling game 55.5? Did you bet?
No, I stayed away from that. If I would have bet it, I would have bet Ohio State not to cover, just because you never know those late touchdowns, or, when you're going to have a team playing, a lot of its backups for a quarter plus, you just don't know if you're going to get points out of that. Obviously it could be herky jerky. So if I was going to bet anything, I wouldn't have bet them to cover, but I also understood just how big the talent disparity was, that I didn't want to bet the under either, because look, I picked it 55-3, and that was right at the line, and 70 was in play. I knew that was in play. So no, I stayed away from that. But if this line this week stays where it's at around 31, I think I'll take the Buckeyes and lay the points.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Always enjoy it. Have a good one.